Yo guys, Fish and SGen here, back with more Minecraft content. In today's episode number 9 of the survival series, we'll go into detail on the armor trims that are available in this game, detailing how to find each type, what resources you will need in order to duplicate them, and also just any tips and tricks that I've learned along the way from my own experience so far playing Minecraft Survival for the first time in over 10 years. So on that note, let's get right into it. So first things first, there are 19 total armor trims in Minecraft Survival, all of which provides a unique appearance to each type of armor from leather all the way up to netherite armor. Now each armor trim can be found in unique biomes, structures and different worlds, from temples, nether bastion remnants, end cities and more. In this video I will provide a breakdown on how to find each and every single armor trim, as I mentioned, tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, but also the block types that you'll need, which are typically unique to the biome that you find them in, and finally how to use them, and also how to create your very own armor set utilizing the raw materials to change the color schemes and so on. So how to find each of the armor trims in this game? Well, as I said, there are 19 different trims in this game, and I'll start firstly with the Sentry armor trim. Now the Sentry armor trim can be found uniquely in pillager outposts, which are typically sort of dotted around the general landscape of the map, and pillager outposts are really useful structures both for ominous potions, for other factors which I'll go over in a future episode, but also for the Sentry armor trim. Now once you defeat all of the mobs in this area and you safely go up to the top of the tower, you will find chests, which in one of those two chests you can find the Sentry armor trim. Now the second armor trim in this video is the Vex armor trim, which is actually quite a rare one to find purely because it is only uniquely found in a woodland mansion, which is a really rare structure in this game. And to give you guys an idea on how rare these structures are, I have traveled up to 20,000 blocks in every single direction from our main base, and I've only ever found one woodland mansion, which was absolutely bizarre because I thought this was quite a common structure, and to find one which you can see in this gameplay now was the first one I've ever found in Minecraft Survival. And to my delight, I then actually got away and luckily found the Vex armor trims in this structure, which is really cool because I then found out that it's actually quite a rare armor trim purely because, as I said, is a rare structure in this game, and it took me forever to find a woodland mansion. Now the third armor trim in this video is the Coast armor trim, which kind of gives it away in the name. This is found in shipwrecks along coasts, and shipwrecks are just typically scattered around areas with large sort of water sources nearby, i.e. the sort of large lakes or just a general ocean itself, and inside these shipwrecks you can find the Coast armor trim, which for the most part are not rare structures by any means. I have found dozens of them across the landscape, just generally just traveling around the map and just finding my way through the world in general, which to be honest is kind of the best way and the best method or tip that I would suggest for these armor trims, is just travel around the map and you will find a lot of these structures just naturally generated in your sort of travels, and you'll also find a whole lot of other things that are useful for you, i.e. resources and decorative features and so on. So my just general advice would be, if you're interested and you enjoy exploring the world, just do that and you will end up finding a lot of these armor trims just by doing that anyways. Now as for the fourth one on this list is the Dune armor trim, which as you can see in the gameplay is found in a sand temple, which are just generally very common structures found in the desert biomes and the mesa biomes, which are really easy and simple structures which can offer really good loot, better than the likes of a jungle temple, which is where you find the wild armor trim, which is armor trim number 5 on this list, which can be found inside jungle temples, which for the most part are also common structures found throughout jungle biomes, and for the most part a pretty underwhelming structure because it doesn't really offer any rare loot. However, it does offer the armor trim if you are looking for this style. Now for the sort of 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th armor trims, these can all be found in trial ruins. These are known as the Wayfinder, the Shaper, the Razor and the Host armor trims, which again are all found within trial ruins. Here is the sort of for the archaeological experts and the players who like to dig around suspicious gravel and sands and try to explore these structures, which are very unique structures in their entirety. Because I still remember the first time I found one of these, I was very confused as to what was going on because there was just so much terracotta in a random segment of an area it just did not belong in a biome. I think it was a jungle of some sort, and I was really confused as to what was going on. But then I sort of researched it up and realized I was actually sort of mining into a trial ruin. And you can also find these as a general tip by going along to a cartographer trader in your villaging halls or wherever it may be, whether it's just a local village, and you can actually trade with cartographer villager traders, and you can actually get a trial ruin and trial chamber maps, which will direct you exactly to one of these structures around the map. But for the most part, they're not exactly rare structures. You just have to have an eye for what you're looking for. Now, as for number 10 and 11 on the armor trims is the Ward and Silence armor trims, which are only found in the terrifying Deep Dark and Ancient Cities. This is one of the scariest experiences of my entire gaming career, not just Minecraft, and it does make me question how on earth this game is still made for kids when things like this get added into the game. Like I said, me and my friend were not aware of what we were getting ourselves into, and this was terrifying to say the least. It made my friend and scared to his core, to the point where he was begging me to leave this place, and I had to remind him this is just Minecraft. But for the most part, this is a scary experience, and if you're going to try and get one of these armor trims, just make sure you are fully aware of what an ancient city is and what the deep dark has to offer, because the warden is something that you should not mess with by any means, and you need to have all of the tips and tricks that I'll be bringing out in a future video upcoming on the channel in the next couple of weeks, which I'll go over in full detail on an ancient city, how to explore them, and so on. But anyways, back to the armor trims. As for number 12 on the list, this is the Tide armor trim, which can be found uniquely in the Ocean Monument, which is a really cool early and mid-game structure and boss fight. I have actually made a previous video on the channel, which is linked in the description below, explaining the Ocean Monuments in full, in case you guys aren't fully aware of what these structures are. But in here, you can collect a bunch of exclusive and unique rewards and materials that you will not find anywhere else, such as wet sponge and prismarine and so on, and sea lanterns and all this sort of stuff, but also the Tide armor trim. Now, moving on to sort of armor trim number 13, known as the Snout armor trim, which can be found exclusively in the Bastion remnants, found in the Nether, which of course is a really unique structure. For the most part, a terrifying experience, and in my opinion, arguably the hardest structure to explore in all of Minecraft Survival, but others can be sort of debated. But for the most part, this is a really terrifying experience, useful for both netherite smithing templates as well as the Snout armor trim, which is a really cool feature in this game. The netherite armor template is something I'll go over in a future video, explaining exactly how to find them in a bit more detail, because there's quite a lot to them. But for the most part, you can find armor trims 13, which is the Snout armor trim, and armor trim number 14, which is the netherite armor trim, which is a smithing template used for upgrading your diamond equipment to netherite, and only found in Bastion remnants, and also is guaranteed in a Bastion treasure room. But again, as I said, I'll go over that in more detail in a future episode. Now, moving on to the sort of armor trim number 15 is the rib armor template, which is found exclusively in a nether fortress. Now, in a nether fortress, for the most part, if you know what you're doing, this isn't exactly a terrifying experience, but you have to be aware of all of the sort of mobs in these structures and how to explore them, and any tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, which again, I have made a separate video on the channel, which is also linked in the description below, in case you guys don't know how to explore a nether fortress. If in case you're a newer player like myself, or a returning player that hasn't played this game in over 10 years like myself, then maybe watch that video, because nether fortresses can be quite tricky, but in these fortresses you can find the rib armor trim, which is a really cool feature in this game. Now, moving on, for the 16th and 17th armor trims in this video is the Eye and Spire armor trims, which the Eye armor trim is exclusive to a stronghold, which is of course where you find the end portal to access the end cities and so on. But in this stronghold, if you sort of loot for long enough, you will find plenty of exclusive rewards in the chest, but also the Eye armor trim, which in my opinion is my personal favorite armor trim, when we get into the decorating part of this video, where I get into exactly what the trims actually look like and so on. But also, as for the Spire armor trim number 17, you find these in the end cities, which is the big towers and the big structures of sort of purple blocks and the sort of purple and end stone buildings, where you'll find plenty of exclusive loot and diamond rewards and so on. But of course, you'll also find things like elytras in the ships and all of that sort of stuff. But also, you will find the Spire armor trims, which is also a really cool and one of my other personal favorite trims that I've used on my armor in my own individual sets as well. Now, moving on to the final armor trims in the video is the Flow and Bolt armor trims, the newest additions to the game, which are number 18 and 19 for the video. These can be found exclusively in the trial chambers, which again, as I mentioned, can be found by using either the cartographer, villager, trader in your trading halls or your local village, and that way you can use the maps to find these structures, which offer plenty of exclusive and unique rewards, such as the heavy core and the windburst enchantments for the mace and so on, but also these unique armor trims, which are really cool, and also a bunch of copper in this structure, where you can find wax and oxidized copper, which obviously takes a long time in the overworld, especially if you're trying to do it yourself. But in here you can find so many cool things, and this is a really unique structure, which I again have made a separate video on the channel, which is linked in the description below, because I appreciate this is a newer structure to the game, with a sort of loads of a bunch of unique things and structures and sort of features that have been added to the game that I myself wasn't aware of, and hopefully there are other newer players that can benefit from watching that video. So if you guys are one of those players, please go check it out, because it should massively help you guys out. But for the most part, that's all 19 of the armor trims in the game. Now, as for what you can do with these armor trims, some of the armor trims in this game feature patterns based on a mob or a block that is found in the same structure or biome as the corresponding smithing template, such as the Spire armor trim, which resembles a shulker, the Vex armor trim, which resembles an evoker, the Wild armor trim, which has moss sort of growing on 3 of its corners, the Coast armor trim, which appears to have like barnacles attached to it, the Ward armor trim, which basically has like the Warden's chest on it when you sort of look at it from an inventory point of view, the Silence armor trim, which appears to have Skulk sort of creeping onto it and infecting it, the Tide armor trim, which resembles prismarine bricks, the Snout armor trim, again from the Bastion, which resembles a piglin, the River armor trim, which resembles a wither skeleton, and the Eye armor trim, which resembles an Eye of Ender. These are all very cool features to the game. And then also I just wanted to add that the Silence armor trim is actually the rarest armor trim in the game, and also one of the rarest items in the entire game in Minecraft Survival, due to being found in only ancient cities, but also having only a 1.2% chance of being found in chests, which is quite annoying for those collector fans, that someone that's trying to get every single thing there is in Minecraft, because there's a lot of players that like that. And if this is one of those things that you want to do, finding the Silence armor trim can often mean you have to explore tons of ancient cities, which for the most part is not exactly something you want to do if you are terrified of the ancient city. Fortunately, I actually don't mind exploring them. You just have to know all of the tips and tricks, which again is why I'm going to make a separate video on the channel, because I think it helps a lot of newer players that don't necessarily know what they're doing or aren't fully aware of all of the little secrets and the tips and tricks that other players have learned along the way. But then moving on to the sort of final part of the video. Now, in order to add colors to your armor set, you can use the following materials or ores in order to change the actual color of the armor, because for the most part this is mainly the purpose of these armor trims. Although they offer great decorative features to be aware of when you're designing your ideal armor set, and when coordinating with the desired color schemes by using blocks or raw materials, can really improve the visuals of your armor. So to start with, you can use lapis to make blue armor sets, you can use gold to make gold or yellow armor sets, you can use emerald to make green, redstone to make red, netherite to make black, copper to make brown or orange, diamond to make sort of a light blue or teal and a cyan color, quartz to make white, and then amethyst to make purple. Now, in summary, armor trims are awesome, especially when you add the colors to the theme of your armor sets, making them look incredible and make you stand out as a true Minecraft survival completionist. Certain color combinations just look really cool and better when they're coordinated with another, and especially with unique trims. And this feature and just generally has made the armor system a lot better in my opinion. My personal favorite, as I mentioned, is the Eye or Spire armor trims, which again I've found in the Stronghold and the End cities. But anyways, guys, there you have it. Hopefully, guys, this video has helped you out, and if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, as it massively helps me out. And comment down below if you have any tips or tricks that you found along the way when finding and building armor trims yourselves, or if you have any cool suggestions on colored sets or trims that you guys prefer. Let me know down below in the comments, and I'll come right back to you. I'm VisionSGen. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I really hope this has helped you out, and I'll see you in the next one.